So when I'm on the dance floor at a festival, I'm not just dancing and having fun and moving my body. I am doing deep level shamanic witchery. I am working with the energies of the earth, of the stars, the sun, the moon, the sky, the elements, fire, earth, wind, water, as well as the energies of those people who are surrounding me on the dance floor. And this is really, really profound stuff, because I am moving other people's energy through my own energy field, and my energy field becomes like a purifier, a filter to help other people around me not get stuck in a single energy or not get overly attached to a single energy. Because this can often happen is things come up when we're on substances. I'm not going to pretend like I don't take substances. I'm not going to pretend that festivals are spaces where people aren't partaking in substances, because that is what's happening. And the thing about taking substances that put you out of your sober state of mind is that things can come to the surface extremely easily. These being old insecurities, old thought loops, old emotions that maybe you've never even thought about or processed before until it comes up in that moment. And when it's coming up in that moment, that is the time for you to look at it, for you to heal it, for you to embrace it, for you to go on a journey. Maybe it's a shadow work journey with that emotion, with that thought, with that feeling. Okay, and so dance floors are extremely powerful places for you to do your healing work. It's a place where I have been doing my own healing work for the last 10 years. And every single time I move through a new life phase or a new journey or a level up in my power, in my presence, in my capacity to be with the sensations of whatever is coming up, I realize how fucking potent dance floor alchemy is. And this is definitely something I want to speak more about. But dance is one of the most easily accessible, available tools that we have for healing, for personal healing, for collective healing, for community healing, because it really goes beyond the ego mind, beyond the conscious mind, and it taps straight into the body, straight into the subconscious field, because that is where all your trauma and insecurities and pains and patterns from the past are living. And if you're not accessing them through dance and subconscious accessing tools such as breathwork, such as meditation, then you're never going to know what's actually living below the surface of your mind, because your conscious mind is only responsible for 5% of your daily thoughts, actions, words, experiences. Everything else, 95% of what you experience on a daily basis, is coming from your subconscious programming, is coming from these parts of your life in the past that you think are now over, but actually they are continuously repeating themselves. And that's why you keep on manifesting the same patterns again and again and again, the same experiences again and again and again, with maybe different people, but it's the same pattern, it's the same experience, it's the same emotional trigger, it's the same thing coming to the surface, asking you to take a deeper look at what is actually going on below the surface. And so when we are in a festival environment, we're all sensitive, we're healing, we're releasing, we're taking substances, everything is coming to the surface through this intense movement of energy within the collective space. And so things are coming to the surface, and a lot of people unfortunately do not have the tools or mental capacities to deal with what is coming to the surface. And that's where professional witches like me come along to help the people, to help the collective, to help move the energies along, to stop letting the energies get stuck so that we can move forward, so that we can create more coherence and safety and love and acceptance and non-judgmental attitudes within a festival environment and dance floor space. These are extremely, extremely, extremely important protocols, because as we move now into the age of Aquarius, which we already have started about 2 years ago, and there is no start and stop when it comes to these new eras. It's all about the gradient and like the gradual movement from the old world to the new world, the old earth to the new earth protocols, the new earth consciousness. This is what it's about. It's about a gradual movement. And witches like me, professional witches like me, our job is to be the midwives of these processes, of these moving from the old world to the new world, these alchemical transformation processes, because these are deep, deep spiritual, mental, emotional consciousness upgrades. And you have to be a fucking warrior of consciousness and light and love to be able to understand what are we letting go of, the pain, the heaviness, the evil, the doubts, the intensity, the overwhelm. That's what we're letting go of. The pain, the generational fucking trauma. And what are we moving towards? Because to be able to integrate pain and transform pain, you first have to fucking feel it, okay? And so many people are resistant to feeling their pain. They're resistant to feeling the uncomfortable emotions that surface when they get triggered, that arise when they feel insecure. And the only way out of that experience is through it, and that is through feeling it. You have to feel it in order to heal it. Welcome back. That was a little intro to Sync and Flow, the podcast, babies. I'm super excited to have you here. Today, we're going to be talking about how I do collective healing work at festivals. It is some deep, cosmic, shamanic sorcery and witchery, working with the quantum field, working with quantum physics experiences and concepts, and I'm really excited to get into this and explain at a deeper level what this is all about and why it's so important that witches become more and more visible within the festival spaces and within the mainstream culture, society at large, okay? One of my biggest goals is to make witches mainstream again, so that we can be more visible, so that we can do greater healing work, so that when we are praying to the earth and putting our foreheads to the base of a tree to thank that tree and give thanks to the earth, people aren't like, what the fuck is this crackhead doing, you know? And they're actually like, wow, thank you for being the one to give the thanks. Thank you for being the one to ground the energies of this crazy dance floor. Thank you for being the one to help create more coherence, more love, more light, more opening, more possibilities in this space. Because I think we all know what it's like to be in a club environment or a festival environment or a party space where there's not good energy, where there's too many drunk people, too many people high on cocaine, too many people mixing drugs and substances that should never be mixed, and really disrespecting like themselves, the environment, the energy, and are releasing a lot of toxicity into a space. And so whose job is it to clean that up? Unfortunately, it is the high frequency people's job to clean that up. Unfortunately, it is the spiritually aware, spiritually conscious witches and wizards' job to clean that up, because the only people that can feel the intensity of those low vibrations are people that live and operate at a higher vibration, right? And this is the thing, is I came to do this work and do dance floor healing, clearing, energy work on people, on myself, on the collective dance floor at large, not because I wanted to, but because I fucking had to. I literally had to start doing this work, because otherwise I personally would feel overwhelmed by heavy energy. I personally would feel like emotional and like almost sick, actually, you know, like I would actually start to feel blocked in my body. I would take on other people's insecurities. I would start to feel the intensity and heaviness of the collective pain body. And if you've read A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle or engaged with any of his work, you will understand what the collective pain body is all about. And the collective pain body is a collective group entity or organism that exists in the 4D astral space, in the fourth dimension, and it holds the stories of the collective pain, the stories of the collective embarrassment and not belonging and rejection, and all these stories of shadow and pain and discomfort and not belonging, not loving, right? Stories that are not of the light. And in order for us to find more light, find more power, find more purpose, we have to integrate the collective pain body. And this is a personal task, but it's also a collective task. So I'm really excited in today's episode to share with you guys. I was just at Garbage Festival in Poland, 2 hours outside of Berlin, this previous weekend, end of July, beginning of August, and it was a massive initiation, upgrade, activation, transformation, and empowerment experience for me as a professional witch. And I'm really excited to dive into these topics with you guys, because I am also integrating an ayahuasca journey from 2 weekends now ago. And I'm really excited because that ayahuasca journey that I did the weekend before Garbage really opened me up to my next level of power. And that's exactly what I was asking for and praying for the entire time. And those were my intentions for this ayahuasca journey. And so I knew I would be going to Garbage Festival to integrate everything that I opened and activated in the ayahuasca journey. So if you're excited for some story time, buckle up, get ready, get some popcorn, make a cup of tea. If you are watching on Instagram, you can catch this again on YouTube, Spotify, Apple. And if you're listening on Spotify, Apple, don't forget to rate, review, share, comment, subscribe, all the things, please, because I'm really trying to get this information to as many people as possible and make modern day witches fucking mainstream again, because we're no longer being burnt at the stake, but we are still being burnt psychologically and at the level of the mind, specifically from closed-minded people. So if you're an open-minded person and the thought of having a conversation with a witch interests you, then baby, don't worry, you can stay here. You're very welcome. But the thing is, the more that the powers of the light and the powers of the love work and empower themselves and start to actually create change in this world, the more the dark forces, the evil forces are going to fight back. And it's always been like this. There is a very real war, a spiritual war of good versus evil that is going on. And I truly believe in the light. I believe in some form the light has already won. People are awakening at unprecedented levels than ever before. And we are seeing massive society and cultural collapse of the old world order so that we can make space for the new earth, the new codes of ascension timeline that we are in. That being said, there will always be dark forces that fight against the light. And I have significantly felt this my entire life. I have felt, let's say, attacked by the darkness, attacked from within my own body, first and foremost. So I had to go on my own healing journey to purify my own body, my own mind from that toxicity. Then it started coming to me from the external. And it still happens to me in public spaces. People will try to put me down. People will try to tell me to shut up. People will try to embarrass me or shame me or blame me or put me in a subjugated position whereby I feel not welcome or rejected or any of these emotions. But the thing is that I have worked so fucking hard on cultivating my own power and cultivating a deep inner strength that is so deeply rooted into the womb of Mother Gaia that I have completely dismantled all self-doubt programming. And so if these forces try to suppress me or try to put me down, what do? I just get up and I fight harder. I dance harder. I share louder. I sing louder. I express more. I share and move and channel even more love through my body, through my system, through my heart. Because that's the only fucking way. That is the only way. And so when I am on the dance floor at the festival doing collective healing work and I'm tapped in, right? Like my crown all the way to my root is open and energy is flowing through me and out of me. I often end up creating a lot of space around me, like physical space. People don't want to come close to me. Firstly, because I dance so fucking crazy and wild that if you do come close to me, I might accidentally hit you in the head. Sorry, not sorry. Then secondly, I hold such an intense vibration of light and empowerment and freedom and liberation that if someone is not okay with this intensity of freedom, because within their own mind-body system, they're still holding on to their own pain, their own suffering, they're choosing to keep themselves small, then my energy will actually push them away because they will be triggered by my energy. They will be overwhelmed by how intense, how light, how pure, how loving, how accepting it is, because it's so rare that they experience this energy on a daily basis. Very, very little people experience the type of energy that comes out of my mind, body, and soul. And so when I go to festivals, I absolutely love to see how people react to me. What do they think of me? How do they react to me? How do they judge me? How do they get triggered by me? How do they project their bullshit onto me? Like all of this, I find a fucking comedy show. I find it hilarious because there's no part of me that is attached to the way that other people perceive me. And this is another lesson on finding your power, is you completely detach from the perceptions, perspectives, and expectations of others. And you completely become your own person, guided by your own channel, guided by the power of your own heart, guided by the power of your higher mind and your higher self, guided by the power of your womb and your sexual life force energy, guided by the power of God, Goddess, Source, Universe, Consciousness, speaking to you and directly through you. And other than that, no one else's opinions rarely matter. Other than that, no one else's judgments rarely fucking matter. And that's when it becomes so fucking liberating to truly be yourself and to truly allow yourself to dress the way you want, act the way you want, dance the way you want, and express the way you want. Sing, laugh, joke, be playful, right? And this is how you allow yourself to take up more space. As long as the space you're taking up is not overwhelmingly impacting negatively on other people, then it's fine. Then you do you, boo. There's no one here to police you. There is no one here to tell you what you can and cannot do. We are moving away from a society that is obsessed with rules and obsessed with this is how women should act and this is how women should not act. This is how men should act. This is how men should not act. We're moving away from this shit because it's so dogmatic and controlling and limiting. It's taking away our freedom. And so we get to become empowered, sovereign individuals that are connected to life, source, God, consciousness, where we get to hold the values of love, of truth, of integrity, of empowerment, of freedom. And if those are your values and you're operating from those values with integrity, with truth, with empowerment, with a clear channel that it hasn't been disturbed or compromised by external things, external forces, shitty substances, bad drugs, toxic energy of other people, then you know that your channel is pure. And when you know that your channel is pure, you know that whatever comes out of your channel is for the greater good of yourself and of others. And that's really where I'm at right now. I've spent the last 7-8 years detoxing intensely my mind, my body, and my soul, purging and taking deep mushroom journeys and hape and ayahuasca and meditating in silence for 10 days in Vipassana and really detoxing and unwinding and unprogramming and letting go of all the pain and toxicity and bullshit and brainwashing and programming that I received growing up in this society. And so now I am operating at such a high frequency of divine light and love, and that divine light and love isn't always going to be expressed through me being nice. Sometimes I do need to be a fucking bitch. Sometimes I do need to stand up for myself. Sometimes I do need to say, hey, that's not okay behavior. Sometimes, like I said earlier, the dark forces will come and try to take my power away from me, will try to distract me from my channel, from my power, from my healing work, will try to literally like push me away or get me away from my power. And in those moments, I need to hold my boundaries. I need to hold my truth. I need to hold my power. Okay, I'll give you an example. Like on Monday nights, I was dancing and I was going all in. I was like giving it one last shot. It's the last night of the festival. I'm like, okay, angels, guides, wisdom keepers, ancestors, let's just fucking go, give it one last shot. And I'm dancing with this stick that I found in the forest because it helps me to stay grounded and rooted and stable. And also I make such crazy dance moves that sometimes I need like a third leg to like help me not fall over and embarrass myself. There was some people that came and like started standing next to me, like these old people, and like immediately I got this like weird like kind of like Nazi energy from them. And they were just standing next to me, and I had been standing there dancing there for like a solid amount of time. And then they were trying to dance next to me, and I said to them, and they were like getting really pissed off about my stick like being in their way. And in that moment, I people pleased, and I didn't want to put it down, but they were trying to take it away from me. And then in that moment, I was like, okay, fine, let me just put it down next to this tree. And then I continued to like hold onto the tree and dance crazy anyway. And like a few minutes later, I look around and my stick is gone. And I know that they fucking stole my stick. And I know that in that moment, the dark agenda forces were working through these people to take one of my power object tools away from me so that I would be less stable. Because the more power that I do and hold and take and like embody, the more rooted and grounded I have to be, okay? These are why like the most powerful trees that you will ever see, the tallest, biggest, most majestic, magical trees you will ever see, grow super fucking tall, but they also have roots that are really, really fucking deep in the earth. And so this is how I maintain extremely high cosmic galactic powers, where I'm able to channel the energy of like 1,000 people on a dance floor space and purify the energy of 1,000 people, plus not just their personal energy, plus their generational lineage karmic cycles, so their generational trauma. And it's kind of hard to understand how much energy we're really dealing with here, but it's a fucking lot, and it's way too much for one person like me to deal with on their own. And so how am I able to do that? I ask for support, I ask for help, and that help comes to me in many different shapes and forms. Firstly, I ask my guides, I ask my ancestors, I ask my angels, I channel the energy of my higher self. Because please remember, one of the deepest powers of being human is that we're not just of the earth, we are of the stars. We hold the earthly realms, but we also hold this multi-dimensional capacity to be in different dimensions at the same fucking time. We hold so much fucking power. And the more you heal, the more your trauma and you go on a spiritual path, the more you start to activate your multi-dimensional consciousness. And so I ask my multi-dimensional consciousness, my guides, my angels, my ancestors who are looking after me and always available for me, to support me and send me more power. So I'm not just using the power of Josie's body, I am using divine guidance and power, multi-dimensional power. And through that power, I am able to literally perform miracles. Because it's not Josie. I'm working with God. I'm working with source energy. Okay, and if you speak to any fucking healer, they will tell you it's not me that heals. It's God's power, God's love, God's light working through my hands, my body, my expression, my being. And so I still have to keep my human self grounded on the earth so that my cosmic, galactic, multi-dimensional self can do all of the crazy, intense, generational, karmic, lifetime clearing work. So it's really, really insane stuff. It's really, really fucking needed. And yes, I do this work for free. Yes, I don't expect anything in return. Yes, I give people healing all the time at festivals for free, but I know that it lights me up. This is my soul's purpose. This is what God put me on this earth to do. And that's why I came here, to embody what it means to be a professional witch and to be publicly visible about my professional witchery and to tell people, hey, the witches are coming back. Hey, don't you know, like, there is so much happening below the surface in the invisible spiritual realms that you don't fucking know about because you can't see it. And unless you've trained yourself to be sensitive enough to these energies, then very likely you will not take them seriously, because the five senses are deceiving and limiting and trick us into being obsessed with the material realm. But there is so much more beyond the material 3D realm that we cannot perceive or have access to because we think it doesn't exist. Now that you kind of understand the levels of which I am acting on, the extremely deep level of grounded, rooted, shamanic earth womb energy that I'm having to hold my feet in and hold my lower chakras in and stay rooted and grounded in Josie's body so that I can channel and bring down these higher forces of angelic love and cosmic healing and ancestral healing, karmic lifetime clearing healing work, so that it can be felt in the collective field so that I can channel that through my body. Because if it's just staying in the ether and in these invisible realms, it's not gonna have an effect. I have to bring these energies down and send them out my heart, just like I have to bring up the earthly energies from the ground, from the center of the earth, from the trees, from the butterflies, from, you know, these energies, the elements, bring them up into my heart and send them out so that people can actually feel it. Because spirituality becomes practical when we ground it through the body. It becomes easily accessible when we ground it through the body. And this is the future of spirituality, okay? It's grounded in the body and it's operating within this heart center space. We're no longer needing to transcend and leave the body and meditate for hours and hours and hours in order to have some crazy download or to see God. And neither are we no longer needing to only stay in the body. We can now learn to fluctuate between the lower realms and the higher realms. And through that, we can stay balanced, centered, anchored in the heart space. So this is a little summary. I think I will do a part 2 of this episode because I didn't get to talk about what happened in Garbage Festival. There are some very specific stories that I want to share with you guys because the craziest shit fucking happens to me. Like, I want to share the very specific examples of what happens to me and of what I experience and of how people react to me and what I actually fucking do when I go to festivals. Yes, I'm doing Dancefloor healing and clearing and giving healings to the people, but it's so much more than that, and it's channeled through my unique experience and voice and energy and moves and expression, and that can be pretty fucking wild. So I'm really excited to share more of my wild stories with you guys because there's a lot and there's a lot to learn from. So stay tuned. Thank you for being here, and watch out for part 2 of professional witchery and how I do collective healing at festivals. See you next time.